Hello, my name is Xodas, and today I wanted to talk about the Venthyr Covenant for Unholy DKs. This is a really powerful covenant for Unholy, and in today's video we're going to go over exactly why it is such a powerful covenant for the Unholy DKs. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this and more videos about Death Knights in general. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Alright, so first of all, let's talk about Door of Shadows. This is the ability that every Venthyr gets regardless of your spec or class, and I'm sure most of you are probably pretty familiar with this, or just going to go over it really quick. Essentially, it is a teleport. You cast it over like 1.5 seconds, and you appear in the space that you decided you wanted to land in. So very useful. It's on a 1-minute cooldown, so it's an extremely powerful cooldown for getting out of raid and dungeon mechanics, and overall, very cool ability. Who doesn't like a good teleport? The next ability, however, is the ability that we are actually choosing the Venthyr specifically for, and this is the ability that only Death Knights get from taking the Venthyr Covenant. That ability is called Swarming Mist, and it is a really powerful and cool ability. So Swarming Mist costs 1 rune, it is the class ability, is an instant cast, and it has a 1-minute cooldown. What it does is a heavy mist surrounds you for 8 seconds, increasing your dodge by 10%. Deals 448 shadow damage every 1 second to enemies within 10 yards, and every time it deals damage, you gain 3 runic power, up to a maximum of 15 runic power. Now, this is a very nuanced kind of ability that a lot of people don't fully understand. A lot of the time, I get a lot of questions about it. So let me go ahead and show you guys what this actually looks like and what this actually means. So what this does, for every target that it hits, you get runic power. You get 3 runic power every time it does damage to on every target that does damage to, up to a maximum of 15 runic power. That means that off of 5 enemies, you can get 15 runic power. This is what it looks like. So here's 5 enemies. So this is the cap of what the Swarming Mist ability can do for you runic power wise. I activate it, and as you can see, my runic power is going up by 15 every single second. There's 5 enemies around me. If there's only 1 enemy in front of you when you activate this, then it will only give you 3 runic power per second. If there's 3 enemies around you, then it will give you 9 runic power per second. So up to 5 is a cap, and you can get 15 runic power per second. This is extremely powerful for a few different reasons. In PvE, this is very powerful for Unholy DKs because it allows you to spam Epidemic. And that is actually a really powerful way to do a lot of damage very quickly in AoE and cleave situations. In PvP, or outside of wanting to do big AoE or cleave damage, this could be a great way to get really fat Lichborn heals. This is a way to get lots of death strikes out. This is a great way to get lots of death coils out. It is a great way to just build runic power. Now in PvE, which is the centric focus of this video, we are talking mostly about Epidemic, and it is insane. Now a lot of the time what you'll notice is I'm actually not dropping my DND at the same time that I'm popping my Epidemic. Sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not, and it depends on kind of the situation. I am running the legendary pheromones, which means that I get 15% increased haste whenever I stand inside of my Death and Decay. That is absolutely massive, and that absolutely does help with your epidemic damage and with your base dot damage. It is a very good idea to do this. It depends on your scenario. When I do this, it is absolutely massive. However, if you are planning on chaining pools or something like that, then it may behoove you to hold on to that Death and Decay until after the Swarming Mist is done doing its thing, because then you're able to go straight out of a huge Swarming Mist, huge epidemic spam AoE situation, right into a big DND situation where you're able to spam Scourge Strikes and pop your Dark Transformation, and you're able to just pop all the wounds on all of your targets all at once. This is a really great way to go back to back and just have continuously high, insane DPS. In boss fights though, this is a problem with the Venthyr ability, is that it's not the best in single target. As I said before, it is mostly good for that epidemic AoE spam, but you can still use it to get lots of death coils, and that's what I'm primarily using it in single target for on these bosses, is just get the little bit of extra damage out of the ability, which it really isn't much. It's about 3% of your damage in any given fight. I'm using it on times when I already don't have a lot of runes, and so I might need to infuse that extra runic power in to get more runes back. All in all, I've got to say that these ability Swarming Mist is extremely powerful for Unholy DKs. I also got to say it's probably more useful for Unholy than it is for Frost, and ultimately This ability is just really good. It's extremely powerful in AoE situations. It's extremely mechanically powerful in single target for maintaining your DPS. Next up, I want to talk about the Soulbinds. So there are some very interesting Soulbind abilities that work very well specifically for Unholy DK. Now, the first one is Nagia the Mistblade's Tree, which she is the very first Soulbind that you will unlock after joining the Venthyr Covenant, and her main ability is Thrill Seeker. What Thrill Seeker does is it says, while in combat, you gain a stack of Thrill Seeker every 2 seconds, or 4 stacks on killing an enemy. At 40 stacks, Thrill Seeker is consumed to grant you Euphoria, increasing your haste by 20% for 10 seconds. Thrill Seeker decays rapidly while you are not in combat. Thrill Seeker is extremely powerful, all onto itself, all on its own. But for an Unholy DK, this is massive. Mastery and Haste are your 2 best friends as a Unholy DK. Haste is just amazing. It equals so much more DPS. There's so much bang for your buck tied to Haste as an Unholy DK. It affects your entire kit, really. It affects your dot tick rate, it affects your attack speed, it affects your rune cooldowns, it affects your pet, it affects your pet's energy regeneration for more of those claws, for getting more of those wounds out on the target, especially in AoE when you have them transformed. It affects absolutely everything, and it's an extremely powerful ability specifically for Unholy DK. Outside of that, the Venthyr has some other really interesting Soulbinds as well, like Exacting Preparation, where the benefits of Well-Fed, Flask, Weapon Enchant, and Runeforge effects are increased by 20%. Now, from what I understand, it's not massive for our rune forges. I've had a lot of people that come into the comment section and be like, what about the rune forges? It is 20% of the rune forge. So for Fallen Crusader, for example, it'd be 20% to 15%. Running the Fallen Crusader rune forge, what's going to happen is if you're running this, then instead of getting 15% strength from your rune forge, you'll get 3% extra. So for a total of 18%. Now, that's not a massive, honestly. 3% isn't huge. It's not nothing, but it's also not huge. In fact, I would argue that having a second potency conduit is just gonna be better than 3% increase on your Fallen Crusader proc. Other than that, though, there aren't too many very interesting Soulbinds going on here for Unholy DK. These ones that I pointed out to you are the mainstays, the main things that you're going to be wanting to run for various different circumstances and play styles. For me, Nagia's the Mistblade's Thrill Seeker is absolutely insane. 20% haste is insane for an Unholy DK, and you get this every 1.3 minutes, every 80 seconds, which lines up perfectly with your burst, especially if you're bursting right out of the gate, so that you get that stacks at about the same time every time, and you get them with your burst. The fact that it works the way it does, where you get 4 stacks when an enemy dies, means you're getting it even more often in Mythic Plus, where you're killing huge groups of people. And this is going to be another expansion where when you have an Unholy DK in the group, you're pretty much going to want, as a tank for example, you're going to want to grab as many enemies as you possibly can, because an Unholy DK running this build where you can do so much AoE burst so consistently, it's really a case of if you grab it and put it in front of the Unholy DK will destroy it. And that is a really awesome feeling. And for this reason, the Venthyr Covenant, but also the Unholy DK spec in general, is one of the strongest Mythic Plus specs in the game, in my opinion. Very few other classes and specs have the kind of toolkit and the kind of damage and the kind of uncapped AoE capability that Unholy DKs do. All in all, I gotta say, Unholy DK is looking top notch for Mythic Plus. And if you pair your Unholy DK up with this Venthyr Covenant ability, unless something changes between now and release or sometime shortly after release, oh my god, it is gonna be insane. If you like this video, make sure you hit like, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and ring that bell notification if you want to get notified when I upload a video so you don't miss a thing. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you're looking forward to playing your Unholy DK in Shadowlands. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time.